Hi everyone, Aidan here at the etrailer. Today, we're going to be taking a look at this BulletProof Hitches 2.5-inch ball mount. Now this is going to have an 11.25-inch drop, so this is definitely going to be designed for lifted trucks, not so much like the one we have today. But if your ground clearance from the ground to the bottom edge of your receiver tube is between 25 and 27 inches, this is probably going to be a good height for you. But today we're going to be checking it out, talking about some of the weight capacities and some of the features. Let's get started. Now you'll have a 2 5/16 inch ball up top here with a 22,000 pound weight capacity. That's how much weight it can pull. And down below is our 2-inch ball that we could switch to, giving us a 12,000 pound gross trailer weight rating. That's again how much weight it can pull. Regardless of which one you use, the ball mount itself will have a 3,000 pound max tongue weight, and that's just the maximum downward pressure it can handle. You'll use the included pins and clips to control the rise and drop by just sliding the ball up and down through this channel. And again, with a maximum drop of 11.25 inches, there's a ton of room for adjustment all the way up to pretty much no drop at all if we were towing something pretty tall. But this is also how we would swap between the 2 5/16 and that 2-inch ball. And it is important to note that this is part of BulletProof Hitches' heavy-duty line of ball mounts. And you've got options between the standard duty, heavy duty, and their extreme duty. Really the only difference there is the weight capacity, so heavy duty is kind of in the middle of the road for them. If you find yourself not needing as much weight capacity as this can handle, you can go to one of those standard duty ones or upgrade to an extreme duty if you need a bit more capacity out of it. In general, you're going to have options between all those weight classes for different rises and drops. So if you need this exact rise and drop, but maybe different weight capacity, you should be able to find it here on our site. Just keep in mind that that's all what the ball mounts are rated for, not necessarily the vehicle you're adding them to. So be mindful of that too, and always go by the lowest rated component when towing. Now, one thing that's not included is going to be your hitch pin and clip. I would strongly recommend when you pick up one, not picking a standard one like this, but instead grabbing a locking pin, just because a ball mount like this is going to be an investment. And Infinite Rule actually makes a lock set that would give you one for your hitch and could give you another one to lock down the ball right here, since these holes here share that same standard 5/8 inch diameter. So it'd be a good add to make sure the whole thing's secure. But with that hitch pin removed, I do want to mention that you can remove this, and if you wanted to, you could flip it over completely into the rise position for up to an 11-inch rise, but that's probably not the way you're going to be using this. Something more important, I think, though, is the dual hitch pin holes, which are 1.5 inches apart. So in a bit, we're going to give some measurements. I'm going to be giving them from the furthest one in. So if any of those measurements seem a bit close for you, just add 1.5 inches to it, and you can get a bit extra clearance using this hitch pin hole if needed. Some of those important measurements to get are going to be from the center of the hitch pin hole to the center of the ball where your trailer will actually be hooking up. And that's going to be 11.75 inches. That'll let us know what kind of turning clearance we can expect when hooked up to our trailer. And then also from the center of the hitch pin hole to the closest point, this reinforcement gusset at the back, that's going to be 3.5 inches. And that's another case where you might want that additional 1.5 inches of clearance, because this does come quite close to the end of our receiver tube today. On certain trucks, maybe you find that it prevents you from sliding it into that closest hitch pin hole at all. Or maybe you want to add something like an anti-rattle device that clamps around the ball mount and our hitch, and we need a little bit more room on our shank to actually do that comfortably. But you can just take those measurements to your own hitch from the center of the hitch pin hole and see how this would fit on your truck. One of the things that really sets BulletProof apart is the wide range of accessories they also offer. And on a larger drop height ball mount like this, you've got tons of room to add those things, whether it be something like a 2-inch receiver tube, a hitch step, maybe a shackle for recovery purposes, whatever it may be. You can find those accessories here on our site, And if you've got a larger ball mount like this for your lifted truck, there's plenty of room to add them down the road. If you're thinking this isn't quite the right fit for you, that's okay. There's plenty of other options to choose from. One I would probably recommend looking into first if you need a large drop height like this is probably Gen Y, just because they make a lot of ball mounts with similar drop heights for those larger lifted trucks. And they do a lot of the same things that BulletProof does, where there's a wide range of accessories that work with their ball mounts. And so if you like some of the things here, but you're not sure it's quite the right fit for you, you might find the right fit over with Gen Y. Either way you go though, you're gonna get a pretty solid ball mount. And I do think that this option from BulletProof Hitches is gonna be a great way to tow if you've got that 2.5-inch hitch and the appropriate ground clearance for that 11.25-inch drop. But again, my name's Aidan here with eTrailer, and this has just been our look at this particular BulletProof Hitches ball mount, and thanks for watching.